I got my coffee here. I'm ready for 2 hours of putting on and taking off clothes. Hello everyone and welcome to a new video. So this video is a little bit overdue. It is now like late January, but I've been seeing these pop around and I feel like I've not done one of these before, but I feel like it would be really useful because sometimes we can get pretty wrapped up in your own head and then you end the year thinking, oh, I actually didn't do anything, but you actually did loads. So on the 1st of January I ended up going through my pictures and totaling up all the things I made in 2021, and I made these little graphics inspired by Miss Jen Makes, my friend Jen, on Instagram. I'll link her profile down below. She's got really cool data about the stuff she's made these past few years, and I thought it might be interesting to see. Whatever, we're gonna give it a go. So this video is more going to be like a costume in review kind of thing, and I'm going to try on everything that I made, show you, and then give like a little review, I suppose. I'll tell you why I made it, what's the inspiration behind it, maybe a little bit about the project details, like if I can remember the total cost or something like that, and then whether I'm happy with it or not. Yeah, sounds good. I got my coffee here. I'm ready for 2 hours of putting on and taking off clothes. Have you ever been like in a, you know, like a fast fashion dressing room, just trying on like the 5th pair of pants and everything just feels like it's hell and it's on fire and you're boiling? Got an exciting hour ahead. Okay, so I thought maybe I would just go through the graphics really quickly first, and then I could tell you a bit more about the things I've made. So I'll put them on the screen as well. So I counted that I made 18 sewing projects, 1 knitting, 3 wearable mock-ups and 1 embroidery. So I'm actually just going to show you the knitting project and the embroidery first because they don't really fit into the rest of the video. So the embroidery project that I did this year was this. It is a Tudor rose. This was based on a free pattern from the internet with some added details like a few extra leaves, and inspired by Alice, is a friend on Instagram. She's a great artist. I'll link her profile down below as well. She made a beautiful one and I was like, I want to do that too. And yeah, it took me a really long time. I'm not the fastest embroiderer in the world by far, but I think it's really pretty and I'm going to get a nice hoop for it and put it up on the wall. And then the other thing is my knitting, and I'm gonna go grab it because I forgot to bring it. It's gonna be a lot of this today, isn't it? So here are my socks. I've been wearing them, so please forgive some bits, but this is my first knitting project. Yay! 1 of each. They're really comfy, they're really nice, and I really enjoyed the process, so I'm already making a new pair. Bam! That's it. Well, some of the other graphics are, I split up my projects into, so historically inspired, so my more historic projects, and then history bounding. So I did 11 history bounding, as in like anything that was from my wardrobe that was even remotely vintage inspired. And then I did 11 of those and 7 of the historically inspired. So I also did this graphic where it's whether the fabric for the project came from my stash or was bought new. I mainly bought new. I'm very like project oriented, so if I want to do this now then I'll go and get it, but I won't necessarily have extra fabric, I guess. So it was maybe around 60 bought new and 40 from the stash. And then from the stash, first use and second use. Second use got a really good shout out here. How I feel about it. So mostly loved it, some liked, 1 don't liked, and we're gonna get to that in a minute. And then makes per month. So I made 2 things in January, 1 in February. Come on, man. 2 in March. 4 nothing in April because I was working on my 1880s Jane costume and that took the whole month. But then I finished 4 things in May, and that was after I handed in my last essay deadline for my course, and then I suddenly had all this free time and I very improperly used it for sewing rather than my dissertation. Whatever. And then I sewed 2 things in June, nothing in July because the dissertation was due in August. And then after my dissertation was done, I sewed 2 things in August, 3 things in September, 1 in October, nothing in November because I spent the whole of November making my graduation dress, and then 1 in December, which was my graduation dress being finished. So this chart doesn't really show like when I started a project, it's only when I finished it, which is why there are some empty months. But there wasn't a single week that I wasn't sewing something. And then mixed by color, I thought this was really interesting. Yeah, not much to comment on this. And then fiber content, so there are 7 projects made mostly of linen, 5 of wool, 5 of cotton, and 1 of silk. So these bits about fabric aren't entirely accurate, I would say, because most projects involve, like, I use something from my stash for nearly every single project, be it interfacing or lining or whatever. But the majority of it wasn't from the stash, and the majority of it might have been a specific type of fiber, but it would have other bits of other fibers in there. For example, my 1880s Jane is mostly made of silk, but it also has a cotton on the skirt, a cotton lining, and it has a polyester front. Like, it has all different kinds of fiber in it, but for this graphic I picked the overall. And that's it for the graphics. I think instead what I'm going to show you first are my 3 wearable mock-ups. So if you're new to sewing, a mock-up is sort of a experimental first try version of the garment that you want to make, and it's usually made of cheaper fabric that you have lying around, and it's just to test the pattern onto whether it will fit you, and then you can modify it for the final piece. I'm actually wearing 2 of my wearable mock-ups today, and they actually worked out really well. So this is, I'll insert close-ups in a minute, but this is the mock-up of my favorite shirt. I had this shirt in my closet that I loved, it was bought secondhand, and there was no opportunity to get another one, so I decided to copy it. So I traced out the pattern, and then I made this mock-up, which I think I actually ended up liking more than the actual finished shirt. And then I made another version, which I'll show you in a minute. And then the other mock-up I'm wearing is this skirt, which you can't quite see, but again I'll insert a close-up. This is a mock-up of my Edwardian walking skirt, which I made back in October. Because these skirts are very versatile and you have pleating at the back, there's not much that can go wrong with them unless you're looking for a very specific type of silhouette. So yeah, these are very good. I think when summer comes I'll wear them loads, especially the skirt is very light and nice and swishy. I really like it. So here's the thing, right? They're mock-ups for a reason. So this is the next one I wanted to show you. This is a mock-up of a cute top that I made inspired on a top that my friend wore. It was the whole thing. I think it's really cute, but I have some real issues with it. So as you can kind of see, like, the neckline is all wrong, and this just falls off my shoulders. If I can find a way to like fix it, maybe I could put like a piece of string at the back that just connects it and keeps it in place, or something like that, because it's actually really cute. See? So this is actually made of the same fabric as the previous shirt and the skirt, but I dyed it. Yeah, I actually think it's really cute. I just wish it fit me properly and didn't fall off my shoulders. So I might actually put it in the fixing pile and see if I can make it wearable, because I haven't worn it. I haven't worn it a single time since I made it, and that's why this is the one item that is on the I don't like bit of this graphic. I mean, I like it, but I can't wear it because it doesn't fit me, so I don't like it, you know? So this is the actual final version of the favourite shirt that I told you about. It's a really nice fabric, and I think it did work out really well. It's a very comfy shirt and I'll absolutely wear it a lot when spring and summer comes again. I reduced the gathering of the sleeves for this one, so it's a little bit less dramatic, and you know I love a gathered sleeve. So yeah, it's still a good one there. Okay, so here are the next two. This is a cotton top. It's a cotton linen look. It cost me, I think it was £8 per metre, and I used 3 meters for this shirt, but I still had some leftovers because it's got very big sleeves and just, it's all good. And I actually have a video about making this. It's based on a vintage Vogue pattern and it turned out really well. I think it's a really comfy shirt. Most often it ends up looking like this because the elastic rolls up, but I think that's still really cute. It looks a little bit like a chemise kind of underneath things, so I really like it. And then the other thing that you can't quite see is this skirt. This skirt is made out of 2 meters of a wool suiting that I found on sale. I think it was £10 per meter, so that's £20 for this skirt. It has some mother of pearl buttons at the front and a pieced waistband because I didn't have enough fabric. And I actually remember this being a lot tighter than it is, and that's one of the reasons I didn't wear it a lot when I was over the summer and things, is because it was a little tight. But it's actually much more comfortable now, so maybe I'll wear it more. I really like both of these pieces. They're very casual wardrobe, but sort of vintagey vibes, and yeah, good successes. Oh my god, I'm actually sweating already and we're not even in the historical yet. Okay, so this dress is my medieval Kershaw inspired dress. I'm just wearing it over the same blouse as before. I sometimes wear it over different chemises and stuff, and it looks really cute. I love this dress. It might be one of my favourite wardrobe makes of the year, if not the, maybe the. I've worn it a fair bit, especially over the summer. And yeah, I just love it. It's really comfy, really swishy. It's made of 2 layers of linen. The linen was very affordable because it was very narrow, but it worked fine for a kersal because you can cut a kersal narrowly and then insert the gussets. So yeah, the linen was I think £5 per meter and I bought 4. So this is a £20 dress. It has sort of a stiffer linen as in the lining that I had in my stash, and it has a side zipper which I already had in my stash. Very easy to put on and off and super cute. I'll link the video down below. So here is my modern Victorian look. If you're new to the channel, back in 2020 I used a Garibaldi shirt pattern for the first time and I kind of fell in love with it. It's a great pattern, it's a great style, I love it. So I made another one. So this is made out of this mustard golden yellow, which is just my vibe this year. Linen, and this linen was bought online from fabricstore.com, and I think it's a little hard to work out because I made a large linen purchase so that it would just justify the international shipping, but altogether all the linen was still way cheaper than I could have gotten it in the UK. I think this linen ended up being maybe £8 per meter in the end, even with the additional shipping and stuff. So I'm very happy with it. I didn't buy a lot. I think I bought 3 meters. And then I tried to squeeze out a skirt. Well, I originally was going to do a dress, but then I thought separates would give me more stuff. And then the project came to mind was making a modern Victorian look. So I made the Garibaldi shirt, which was a style popular in the 1860s. And then I made this skirt, which is basically just a circle skirt because I didn't have a lot of fabric left for the skirt at all. And the circle skirts are the most efficient way to get a large hem out of small amounts of fabric. But skirts in the 1860s were gored, not circle skirts. And what that means is that they were cut in panels. So what I did was I made false seams to imitate as if this was a gored skirt, but it isn't. I've actually worn this skirt out. I find it very comfortable, very nice to wear. I also remember it being a little tighter than it is now, so maybe those are just hot summer memories. The shirt itself, I've worn a lot around the house. It's one of my favorites. It's super comfy, super dramatic, super aesthetic. However, there is an issue, and that's why I haven't worn it outside, which is I cannot get these sleeves into any coat that I own. So I haven't really been able to wear it past, you know, the peak of summer because it's too cold in Scotland to wear it outside. But I've worn it around the house, and hopefully we'll have warmer times soon, and maybe I'll make a more wearable day-to-day cape or something. But yeah, I think it was a really good project, very economical in the end. I managed to get 2 garments out of 3 meters of fabric, which I was very happy with. And I think at the end of that video I showed you the scraps of fabric that I had left over, and it was like a little pile like this. So I really like this project and I'm very happy with both of the pieces. And let's move on to the next one, or I'm going to be here until forever. So this top is the final version of the red top that I showed you at the beginning. It is made out of 1 meter of linen that I got on eBay for, I think, £10. So it's a £10 shirt. It's got some buttons from my stash at the back, and it's got like a little facing to finish the neckline, and it's nice. It is really crumpled because some of this stuff has just come out of the ironing basket, and I didn't want to delay making this video anymore, so I didn't do any ironing before the video. Bear with. But I still think it's really nice and comfy. The armhole is a little tight, not gonna lie. A little tight. Yeah, I'm not sure. I've only worn it once because I made it quite late in the summer, and I didn't have the opportunity to wear it again here. But you can see that the neckline is a lot less gaping now. I kind of fixed it for this. And it's still a nice top. I'm still happy with it. I just need to figure out if I can maybe adjust the armhole maybe a little bit. We'll see. Anyway, it is a it is a £10 shirt. It took me, I think, maybe a couple days to make, and yeah, pretty good. Okay, so here we have Hobbity vest number 1. So I haven't... I made this vest at the end of October, or in October, September, October, and I like it. Have I worn it? No. I love it. I love it. I love it. I think it's pretty. It's such a cute look. Look at it. It's so cute. But I haven't really worn it because, well, in my head, I'm really lazy when I get dressed. And in my head, this takes a hot minute to put on. But I think it actually only took 2 minutes to put on. Because it has the lacing at the front. Originally when I made this project I wanted it to have a side zipper, but when I tried it with that in the mock-up it didn't work. Like I couldn't make it work myself. I realised now what the issue was, because I've done underarm zippers before. I just did it wrong for the stays in a mock-up. A whole thing. Anyway, they have to be laced, but what I do with lacing is that I put the ribbons on bobby pins, and that makes it a lot easier and quicker. So this actually only took 2 minutes. I guess I don't wear it very much because I'm always afraid of people looking at me weird. I don't know, and this is kind of, I don't know, I feel like people would look at me. I don't know. I really like it. It was a stash project. This is a leftover wool that I had, lined with linen from my stash as well. Even the little black trim was bias binding from my stash. So yeah, I think a good project all in all. So let's just very quickly grab the other vest. Second vest, here it is. And I actually timed myself lacing it up so that I could tell you it was exactly 2 minutes, and this one has more eyelets than the last, so it really doesn't take that long. I don't know why I got into my head that it did. But yeah, I really like this. This is one of my favorite fabrics ever. It's a Liberty print that I got really discounted because it was very old, and I actually made a pair of stays before with it. I don't know. I think it's really cute, but again, attention. The other thing I didn't mention about the previous vest is that I actually made it slightly too short, and so if I'm wearing it with like a skirt, shirt and then the vest, sometimes the blouse will show between the skirt and the vest, and I really don't like that look. But this one, much better, although it might still be a little short in the back. But yeah, I think it's really cute. Just need to wear it more. Okay, and I think that concludes my history bounding bit. So we're going to move on to the historical. I've been dreading this. I did all different decades. I'm gonna need all different kinds of undergarments. It's gonna take me forever. Here we go. Let's get started. We have reached some difficulties. So I got changed, got into my handmade 18th century shift and started lacing up my stays. It obviously takes forever, and then as I was doing it, the only cord I have to lace up my stays started unraveling in my hands, and I just we're gonna change gears a little bit. So for my historical stuff, I can't. It takes so long and so much effort to put everything on. Basically because I have everything separated into the closet and like nothing's to hand, and some of the stuff I need help putting on because obviously I don't have a maid. So it's a whole thing. So instead I'm going to put nice pictures here and I'm going to review them as we go. So first we'll start off with my handmade 18th century chemise and my 18th century stays. Both of these items are completely hand sewn. I really enjoy hand sewing. That was most of the reason why I decided to make these items, and they're both items I'm really happy with. So the stays are made out of 100% linen across all layers of it, and then it's bound with recycled leather gloves. And then it took me about 8 months. It was a lot of hand sewing and it was quite hard on the hands. My least favourite bit about it was definitely the boning. It was just really hard to get them into the channels because my channels weren't the evenest channels in the world, most even. But yeah, I think it was still a good project. I'm not 100% happy with the silhouette of that, but it was still a good project altogether. The shift is absolutely one of my favourite items. I wear it under dresses, I wear it with skirts. It's so comfortable, so light. Absolutely recommend. Super easy project if you want to get started in historical sewing. And just really versatile to wear in your day-to-day wardrobe as well. However, I haven't fixed the lacing situation of the stays, which is why it was so hard to get into them. Anyway, let's move on. Then I made the my 1830s witch costume. I'll insert a photo. This was a really fun project. I made it with cotton from my stash. This was discounted cotton that I bought in Spain for, I think it was like £5 a metre, and I got 8 metres, which was plenty for this really elaborate 1830s costume. So it's made out of a dress which has really massive gigot sleeves and then like a little capelet with 2 layers. There was a lot of hand sewing of trims, a lot of trying to colour match the trims and dyeing a little bit of fabric for the different effects. But I think it was overall a really fun project and actually very economical because I got that discounted fabric. The other project, big historical build that I made this year, was my 1880s Jane. So if you're new on the channel, I started out sewing by making cosplay, and one of my very first cosplays was Jane Porter from Tarzan. It was a really important costume for me because it was like a complex, my first really complex build, and it just meant a lot to me. It's a character I really liked from growing up because that's the kind of Disney right around my time when I was a child. So it means a lot, and I saw that, you know, now that I know historical sewing, there's a possibility to cross 2 worlds together, and I really enjoyed it, and I think I would like to do another historical Disney project. And that costume turned out really well. I worked really hard on it. It's made out of a underskirt, an overskirt and the bodice. I already had the undergarments for it because I had thankfully done a bustle dress before, so I didn't have to do any of those. But yeah, I think it's a nice costume, and I'd like to wear it to a convention maybe. I think that could be a lot of fun. I don't think people would probably recognise it, but I think it'd be fun. But yeah, I'm really proud of that costume. And that was made with fabric, mostly with fabric that I purchased for it. All the brown bits are 100% cotton that I got, I think, for £6 a metre or something. And then the silk is discounted silk from a, what's it called? Like, when it's like overstock from other places and they sell it again. I can't remember the name, but it's like scraps of fabric left over from big makers kind of thing. And so I think the silk was £10 a metre, and I still have some left over to potentially make an Edwardian Jane. Maybe 2022 will be the year, a Jane a year. And then the final big historical costume for the year was my graduation dress. So I graduated from my master's in dress and textile history in December, and I decided I wanted to make a dress for it. The dress code said if you're wearing a dress it had to be white or black. The first thing that came to mind that I've been wanting to make was an Edwardian lingerie dress or lawn dress, and these are usually summer lightweight dresses. They are made with lots of lace insertion and I love them. Obviously it wasn't historically accurate to wear it to that kind of ceremony, because obviously lawn dresses actually were quite informal for the time, and only as they got more and more popular did they start showing up for like dinner events and things, but it was still quite rare. So it wouldn't have been appropriate for me to wear that kind of dress to a formal ceremony, and especially not in winter because they're very much summer dresses. But I really love that dress. I think it turned out really well, and yeah, I have it now as separate as a blouse and a skirt that can be worn again. And the last two makes to mention, gosh, that's been going on for a while, is the ones I'm wearing right now. So I actually ended up searching for this waistcoat for like half an hour, and I was at the back of the door. Ugh. So I made this waistcoat I think in February, and it's made with leftover fabric, leftover wool from a skirt I made in 2020, I want to say. So it matches it, and that's really nice. There are some issues with this waistcoat, is that particularly this, the rippling at the front here makes me really unhappy. I don't know what happened or how to get rid of it, but otherwise I think it's a really lovely waistcoat. It's super flattering, super comfortable, and it makes me feel powerful, you know? So yeah, I really like it. I just wish this, it's just at the buttons here and it really annoys me, But I think I want to try making a new waistcoat, maybe a velvet waistcoat. I don't know, I'm really digging that vibe. Waistcoats for all. It's really easy to put on and I want to wear it out more. And then the other thing I'm wearing is the Edwardian skirt that I made. It's made out of this 100% wool fabric that I got discounted. It was the sort of those, you know, offcuts that you can get at the store, and so it ended up being I think £37 for 2.5 meters or 2 meters of fabric, which is still a bit, like it's still a considerable amount, but for wool it's really not that bad. And this was made with a free pattern, well, a free drafting instructions on library.archive.org. There's a video about it, I'll link it down below. It was a really straightforward draft, a really straightforward skirt to construct, and I've actually been wearing it out loads because it's so warm. It's only lined with like tarlatan. Well, it's interlined with tarlatan. It's not even lined, but I just wear it with tights and it puts up to the Scottish winter just fine. So I've actually been wearing it out loads and it's really nice. Really swishy, but not with being too obvious swishy, you know? This is not where I thought I would be ending. I thought I'd be wearing a historical costume altogether. But here we are. If you stuck around this far, thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed it. I actually feel really inspired now that I've gone through all the things that I made. Sometimes I can feel really down when I see other people's like, oh, I made, you know, 28 costumes in a year, and I'm like, I made like a shirt. And that's not right. Oh, there's a few things I haven't actually mentioned if you were wondering how does this add up to 18. I actually made more than 18. There's 2 items I didn't count, which was a linen tank top that I completely forgot I made. And what was the other thing I just realized I made and forgot about? Oh, I made another pinafore dress. I made a pinafore dress just around Christmas, so that still counts. So that's 20 items, not 18. There's a couple that I haven't been able to show you, so the linen tank top and the dress are off somewhere, and then that really... Anyway, the pinafore dress video will be out next week, so look out for that. And then the other item I'm not able to show you is the apron that I made for a friend. I mean, she wears it, so I think it succeeded, and it was a really nice pattern, so I might make one for myself. So that is 20 items in 2021. I kind of wish I'd made one more. You know. And I will see you all next week with a dress video of making a pinafore dress video. Thank you so much for watching. If you're interested in supporting me, there is a link to my Patreon in the description box where you can get exclusive videos and polls and stuff, and I'll see you all next week.